We're talking bed bugs this morning. Bed bugs are on the rise. Why are they on the rise? And how big a problem are bed bugs? I'm asking you this morning, have you ever found bed bugs? Well, let's speak to David Kane. He's Managing Director of Bed Bugs Limited, a specialist in the whole area of bed bugs. Good morning, David.
Good morning, John.
So the news today is that they're on the up. Is that what you are finding in 2018, that there are more bed bugs than usual?
2018, 2017, and right the way back to when we formed in 2005. We've watched the problem increase significantly year on year.
Right.
But the big crisis of this year is the heat wave, as insects are very much governed by temperature. The higher temperatures mean that they were breeding at phenomenally fast rates, and therefore there is now kind of a big tidal wave of the problem about to hit, because they've had a 3 week to supercharge the population.
So how long does it take for a bed bug to go from egg to fully grown bug?
Well, in normal weather conditions, about 14 days is average, a little bit long in the winter. The temperatures that we've been seeing across the UK for the heatwave period reduces that down to about 7 days. So it's
half the time.
Half the time.
So their life cycle has been cut effectively. The speed of their life cycle has been cut by half. And are they common? Does everybody have bed bugs, or are there only certain types of places and certain types of environments that bed bugs live?
Well, anyone can be exposed to bed bugs, but you have to come into contact with the source of them. So,
right.
Taking the clock back 10 years ago, that meant you were incredibly unlucky. You stayed in the wrong hotel room, picked up the problem by mistake, and it was kind of a rare occurrence. Well, as the problem has increased over the years, we've started to notice it's not just hotels that people pick them up from. It's cinemas, it's public transport, it's all manner of places that people spend long periods of time stationary. So you don't just have to go away on holiday to pick up bed bugs, and because that's now starting to get into public spaces, it means that more and more people are picking them up.
But why? Why is it that we're picking them up from buses and trains and public transport? Why are they increasing? Because we haven't just had, we didn't have a particularly brilliant summer last year. Is there another factor that's at play here other than just there being hot weather?
No, I mean, there's been a global resurgence for the last 15 to 20 years, and if you look further back than that into the annals of history in the 1930s through to the 40s, it was actually 1/3 of all homes inside London had a problem with bed bugs. So They were very common. It was a routine pest. We did lots of things in our life to control it and bring it under control, and all of those things have been forgotten over the last 50 years.
So we had a problem, then we didn't have so much of a problem, and now we've brought that problem back. And this seems a bit odd, David, when we have the age of the super hoover that can suck everything, and we've got sprays and all sorts of ways of keeping our house clean, that we seem to have this infestation.
Well, the problem is we're dealing with a biological creature here, so it has the ability to adapt.
Okay.
We're familiar with superbugs within the bacterial sphere, but actually these are super bed bugs. They're resistant to DDT, they're resistant to most of the insecticides. You can't just let off an aerosol or a fogger. And quite often, we have to be honest and say, when was the last time you stopped and cleaned your bed?
What, as in cleaned my bed?
As in, when was the last time you took a vacuum cleaner to the mattress and the frame of your personal bed?
I can tell you when I did that. That was 3 weeks ago, because I'm a bit funny like that.
Excellent. But the average person doesn't really do it from 1 year to the next.
So this is about beating. We used to beat carpets and beat mattresses, didn't we? And turn mattresses over. That's what we should be doing to perhaps stop this becoming a problem.
We don't need to beat the mattresses. That was all really about dust mites and this belief that getting air into things was very, very healthy for it. Very Victorian philosophy. But we do need to actually stop and say, hey, if I'm spending 180 hours a month sleeping in my bed, then I really should dismantle it, give it a good clean once a month, because it's the most used item of furniture in my home.
when you put it like that, David, it seems absolutely logical. So cleaning one's bed, hoovering it, is a good way to perhaps stop an infestation or check an infestation.
It's a good way of catching it early. Now,
Right.
if when you travel, you take a few seconds to either check the seat before you sit down, you check your office seat once a month, and every time you go to stay in a hotel, for example, you put your luggage into the bath where it's protected, you inspect the room. If there's a problem, you'll detect it before you've slept in the room, and you've avoided an unpleasant experience.
Okay, so you put your luggage in the bath, check the room. What are you just final question, David? What are you checking for? What are the signs of bed bugs? Because I'm reading the notes I've got here. They're not exactly the biggest of creatures, are they? Up to 5 millimeters long, so they're not it'd be hard to spot. What am I looking for?
Well, you're looking for insects that range in size from 2 millimeters to about 15 millimeters.
Okay.
You're also looking for their cast-off skins, because as they develop, they kind of shed their outer coat and they'll leave those lying around.
Right.
And finally, and probably the most unpleasant, you're looking for their fecal traces, which are little black dots that they leave behind.
Charming. Thank you very much indeed, David. I'm better informed now than I was when we first started talking. David Kane, Managing Director of Bed Bugs Limited. Many thanks for your time this morning.